Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something pretty fundamental, I think, for anyone raising kids. Those pediatric consultations.
The doctor visits.
Exactly. And we've pulled together a really interesting mix of stuff, resources from healthcare consultants, some solid general advice articles, and even some telling bits from the Lifelines podcast by Supreme Medic.
Right.
Our goal here isn't just to tell you the basics. It's more about giving you a real edge, making these appointments work better for you and, of course, for your child.
Exactly. We're not just summarizing info. We're looking for those key leverage points. What are the smart, actionable things you can actually do?
Right.
So you walk into that doctor's office feeling, well, more in control, confident you're getting the best for your child. That's really the mission here.
Okay, so let's dive right in. What can you do before you even step foot in the clinic? Preparation, it seems, is a total game changer.
Oh, huge.
Pretty much everything we looked at emphasized having a list. Questions, concerns. It sounds obvious, doesn't it?
It does, but...
But be honest, how often do you leave and then bang, remember that one crucial thing you really meant to ask?
It happens all the time, to the best of us. But think about this. Instead of just, a random list, try maybe categorizing your concerns.
How so?
Well, are they immediate, like a rash that popped up this morning? Or preventative care upcoming shots? Or maybe developmental milestones you're just curious about?
Okay.
That Lifelines podcast specifically mentioned sleep patterns, developmental progress, common areas for questions. A structured list just helps you prioritize.
Yeah, make sure you cover the important stuff in that, limited time slot.
Concisely.
That structure makes a lot of sense. And, okay, beyond just questions, there's the whole thing with health records.
Right.
The Supreme Medic podcast really hammered home having that immunization history, past illnesses, treatments, allergies, current meds, all easily accessible.
And what's interesting is thinking beyond just the standard forms they give you.
Like,
Well, if your child's seen specialists or had, significant health events before, dig out those records too. Growth charts from previous clinics, maybe. It just gives the pediatrician a more complete picture of your child's development over time. One article suggested a child health folder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whether it's digital or, an actual binder, it's a fantastic way to keep all that vital info organized and ready.
Right at your fingertips. Makes sense. And for those with younger kids, infants, toddlers, we saw a specific call-out about noting feeding and sleeping issues.
Yes, so important.
One article made it really clear just how much those details can tell a doctor about their overall health.
Absolutely. They aren't just like routine daily activities. They're key indicators, changes there.
Can be an early sign.
Exactly, an early sign of underlying issues that might not be obvious otherwise. And building on that, sort of related, keeping a simple journal of symptoms can be incredibly insightful.
Like a little diary.
Yeah, just note when they started, how long they lasted, what seems to make them better or worse. That kind of detail. It can be gold for the pediatrician. Seriously.
Okay, all right. So you've done your homework, list, records, notes. Now you're actually face-to-face with the doctor. What about communication during the visit? Honesty seems, non-negotiable.
Totally. You really need to just lay it all out there, even if it feels a bit awkward,
Why?
Bedwetting that happens sometimes, maybe a recent increase in tantrums. These things might seem minor or embarrassing, but they add to the picture.
Right.
As one source quoted a pediatrician, the more we know, the better we can help. That's really the bottom line.
Simple as that.
And don't forget to mention any home remedies or over-the-counter things you've tried. Even if a well-meaning relative suggested them or you got something from the chemist, tell the doctor.
Got it. And it's definitely not a spectator sport, is it? You need to actively participate.
Absolutely. You're there to ask questions, voice your concerns, offer any relevant observations you've made.
Which brings us to the kind of questions. It's not just, is everything okay? Is it?
No, definitely not. Think more specifically. Our sources suggested questions like, what do you think is the likely cause of this symptom? Or, based on their age, is this behavior kind of normal?
Okay.
Or, are there any potential long-term effects we should know about? And maybe, what are the next steps? And what specific signs should we watch for at home?
Those kinds of questions show you're really engaged, right? And help you get concrete info.
Exactly. And when you're describing what's going on, be clear, concise. One article really pointed that out.
Yeah, the doctor needs that vivid, accurate picture to make the right call.
And let's be honest, medical jargon.
Oh, boy.
Right. It can be like a foreign language sometimes.
Yeah.
If the pediatrician uses terms you don't get, don't just nod along politely.
Guilty as charged, probably.
You are.
Yeah.
But multiple sources, including lifelines, stressed asking for clarification. Seriously, there are no silly questions when it's about your child's health. Ask them to explain it differently.
Okay, good reminder. Now for the flip side.
Wow.
The don'ts. Things to avoid. Self-medication seems like a big red flag right off the bat.
Huge. What's crucial to understand here is that kids' bodies aren't just mini adult bodies.
Right.
Adult medicines, leftover prescriptions. They can be genuinely dangerous. Even common stuff like paracetamol needs very specific weight-based dosing for kids.
Always best to get their guidance.
Always safer.
Okay. Another critical don't, holding back information. The podcast really emphasized the risks there.
Yeah, not sharing details about accidents, maybe exposure to illnesses, or just unusual events, even if they seem totally unrelated.
Why is that so risky?
Think of it like the pediatrician is solving a medical puzzle. Withholding even a small piece, even accidentally, it just makes it much harder to get the right diagnosis, the right treatment.
Makes sense. And on the other end of things, delaying necessary care. Another big don't.
Oh, definitely. Hoping home remedies will just, magically cure a persistent high fever or continuous vomiting. Signs of dehydration, breathing trouble, that can be really risky.
Yeah, the sources listed some clear emergency signals, things that mean basically go straight to the ER.
Like what? Remind us?
Bluish lips, if your child is unusually hard to wake up, any kind of fits or seizures, or like severe unrelenting belly pain.
Yeah. Those aren't wait-and-see situations.
Absolutely not.
And something else. It's important to let the pediatrician actually do their examination and share their thoughts initially without constant interruptions.
It's natural to be anxious, though.
Of course.
Yeah.
But giving them that space to think, to assess, it helps ensure they can give the best advice.
Okay. And this one might ease some parental anxiety. Try not to panic over every little thing.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True. But kids develop at their own pace, right? And while it's absolutely right to discuss concerns, try to lean on the pediatrician's expertise rather than, getting too caught up in Dr. Google
or what the other parents on the playground are saying. Yeah, trust the professional.
Exactly.
And what struck me was the reminder not to overlook nutrition talk during these visits.
Oh, right. It's not just for when they're sick.
No. These appointments are a great chance to get professional guidance on diet, breastfeeding, starting solids, growth concerns, picky eaters.
Supplements even.
Yeah, all that stuff. Use the time.
Okay, this is a really vital don't. Don't delay or dismiss recommended treatments just based on your personal beliefs, not without a really thorough discussion first.
That open dialogue is crucial, absolutely. But ultimately, evidence-based medical advice, that should be a primary driver in decisions. It's about the child's health.
Yeah. Building on that, avoid pressuring the doctor for specific medication if they haven't, done a proper evaluation and decided it's needed.
Right. The goal is the right diagnosis and the right care plan, not just walking out with a prescription you thought they needed.
Makes sense. And finally, it should go without saying, but
be polite.
Yeah. Treat healthcare professionals with respect. Always.
And a seemingly small point, but important. Don't just brush off your child's symptoms, even if they seem mild.
If you're worried, say something.
Exactly. Better to voice it and get a professional opinion.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Thinking bigger picture. Building that strong, long-term relationship with your pediatrician.
Yeah, this is key. One cornerstone. Respecting the recommended vaccine schedules.
Following the guidelines. Like the Indian Academy of Pediatrics was mentioned as an example for schedules.
Right. And don't hesitate to ask about optional vaccines, too. Things relevant for your specific region or if you're planning travel.
Good point. And creating a positive, comfortable experience for your child during the visit. That's also key.
Your own calm, positive vibe can really set the tone, can it?
Totally. And maybe bring a familiar toy, a healthy snack, a favorite book. Little things can help them feel more at ease.
Definitely. And it's so vital to follow the pediatrician's instructions carefully afterwards.
You mean like medication dosages?
Yeah, sticking to the prescribed dosage and schedule. Completing the whole course, especially with antibiotics. Don't just stop because they seem better.
Right. Crucial. And those follow-up appointments.
Not just a formality. They're essential for monitoring progress, even when the child seems well. tracking growth, development.
Catching things early.
Exactly, which leads to regular checkups, even when they're healthy. Keep those appointments. Stay ahead of potential issues.
And fostering that genuine sense of trust with your pediatrician, that's invaluable. Look for someone who communicates well, who makes both you and your child feel comfortable, heard.
Yeah, that connection matters. And as your child gets older, try involving them in the consultation, age appropriately, of course.
How would that work?
Encourage them to describe their symptoms themselves, maybe ask their own questions. It empowers them, makes it less intimidating over time.
I like that. We also saw some specific advice, sort of tailored for caregivers based on age.
Right. For infants, keeping track of number of wet diapers, sleep hours, feeding patterns that provides important data for the doc.
And for older kids?
School-age kids. Updating the doctor on observations about vision, hearing, learning, behavior, all key.
And teenagers.
Adolescents, yeah. It's often helpful to allow for some private conversation time with the doctor. For those more sensitive health topics they might not want to discuss in front of you.
Give them that space. Makes sense.
Finally, remember you have choices. While pediatricians specialize in kids' health, family doctors, nurse practitioners, they can also provide great care.
Good to know.
But it's probably wise to choose a board-certified pediatrician whose experience fits your child's age and needs. And, importantly, don't ever hesitate to seek a second opinion.
If you have lingering concerns.
Exactly. About a diagnosis, a treatment plan, it's your right, and it's often a good idea if you're feeling unsure.
Okay, wow. That was a lot. So just as quickly recap the main do's.
Yeah, the takeaways. Prepare your questions. Have that health info ready.
Be completely honest and clear during the visit.
Ask for clarification. Don't nod if you don't understand.
Diligently follow the recommendations afterward.
And actively participate. It's a partnership.
Right. And the critical don'ts.
Avoid self-treating your child.
Yeah.
Big one.
Don't withhold any relevant information.
Don't delay seeking care when it's really needed. Know those warning signs.
Try not to interrupt too much. Let them assess.
Avoid unnecessary panic over minor things. Trust the process.
Don't pressure the doctor for meds they don't think are right.
Never ignore symptoms, even mild ones if they worry you.
And don't delay or dismiss treatment based just on personal beliefs without a proper talk.
Phew, okay.
So our final thought for you listening is this. Pediatric consultations, they're about so much more than just what's wrong.
It's also about what's going right.
Yeah.
Celebrating healthy development.
Exactly. It's a vital chance to build that strong partnership with your pediatrician. By fostering open communication, building trust, you're really laying a solid foundation.
Yeah, for your child's well-being as they grow. All the way into adulthood, really.
So we encourage you to maybe reflect on your own experiences, past and future pediatric visits, keeping some of these insights in mind.